If you want the real story behind what's happening with NFL teams, the kind of stuff that doesn't make it into those polished highlight packages, then you're in the right place. We're diving deep into the chaos, the decisions that don't make sense, and the players who deserve better. Hit that subscribe button right now because we're pushing hard to hit 1,000 subscribers, and every single one of you helps us grow this thing into something bigger. Jerry Jeudy's season has been essentially invisible, and it's not because the talent disappeared, it's because Cleveland's offensive scheme has completely buried him. Go back and watch the preseason when Shedeur Sanders was running the show. Jeudy was active, he was stretching the field, he was making plays that reminded everyone why he was a first-round pick. Sanders gave him opportunities to run real routes, not just shallow crosses and safety valves. The offense had rhythm, it had aggression, it had a pulse. Then Dillon Gabriel took over as the starter and everything changed. Not for the better, either. The deep ball vanished. The tempo slowed to a crawl. The entire passing attack became predictable, conservative, and frankly boring to watch. Jeudy went from being a weapon to being an afterthought, and that's on the system Gabriel operates in, not on Jeudy himself. This isn't just one receiver struggling to get involved. This is a systematic problem that's infecting the entire offense. Gabriel plays like he's terrified of making a mistake, which sounds responsible until you realize that playing not to lose is still losing. He takes the check down when the situation demands a shot downfield. He hesitates when he should be pulling the trigger. He manages the game instead of attacking it. That might work if you've got a dominant defense and a powerful run game, but Cleveland doesn't have that luxury right now. They need someone who can create, who can make defenses respect the vertical threat, who can keep coordinators guessing. Gabriel isn't that guy, and every week that passes makes it more obvious. Kevin Stefanski is watching his season disintegrate in real time, and the crazy part is that he's the one holding the matches. The loss to Pittsburgh wasn't just another defeat on the schedule. It was a statement game, a divisional matchup with playoff implications already creeping into the conversation, and the Browns showed up flat. They didn't just lose, they got embarrassed. The offense couldn't sustain drives, couldn't convert in crucial moments, couldn't do anything that resembled a competent NFL attack. Gabriel's stat line might not have been a complete disaster, but anyone watching the actual game saw the truth. This offense is lifeless. It's predictable. It's easy to defend because there's no threat of anything unexpected happening. Meanwhile, Shedeur Sanders is sitting on the bench, watching all of this unfold, and he's the only person in the entire organization showing any kind of fire right now. That sounds dramatic until you look at what actually happened. Sanders gave away a car to a family in need. No sponsors, no big production, just a genuine act of kindness that resonated with the entire city. That video went viral, not because it was flashy, but because it showed something Cleveland hasn't seen from their starters in a long time. Connection, leadership, heart. People responded to it because they recognized that this kid understands what it means to represent something bigger than himself. He's not even playing, and he's already making a bigger impact than the guys who are supposed to be leading this team. That gesture matters, but let's not pretend this is just about optics. Sanders proved during the preseason that he can actually play. He wasn't just managing games or playing it safe. He was attacking. He was throwing into tight windows, hitting receivers in stride, taking chances that Gabriel won't even consider. The entire offense looked different with him under center. There was energy, there was tempo, there was unpredictability. Receivers were actually running downfield routes because they knew the ball might actually come their way. That version of the Browns hasn't shown up once in the regular season, and it's not because the talent disappeared, it's because the approach changed. Gabriel's conservative style has poisoned everything, and Stefanski refuses to admit it. Critics are already starting to compare Sanders to Jameis Winston, and before you dismiss that as hype, think about what that comparison actually means. Winston had his flaws, sure, but the man played fearless football. He believed in his arm, he trusted his instincts, he took risks. Some of them backfired, but at least he was trying to win games instead of just avoiding losses. Sanders has that same mentality. He's not afraid to sling it, he's not afraid of the moment, he's not going to play scared just because the stakes are high. That's exactly what this offense needs right now. Gabriel might be technically sound, but he's playing like someone who's afraid to get benched, and that fear is contagious. It spreads to the receivers, it limits the play calling, it kills any chance of building momentum. The argument for starting Sanders isn't about fan service or social media noise. It's about survival. This offense is dying on the field every single week, and the coaching staff is acting like everything's fine. The locker room knows it's not fine. The fans are screaming that it's not fine. And Stefanski just keeps rolling out the same tired game plan like repetition is going to magically fix the problem. If Sanders can't get a chance now, when the season is on the brink, then when exactly is the right time? How many more losses do they need to see before they admit that Gabriel isn't the answer? The next two games are against Miami and New England. These aren't unbeatable opponents. These are games the Browns should win if they show up with any kind of urgency, but they're not going to win playing this passive, afraid to make a mistake brand of football. They're not going to win if Stefanski keeps protecting Gabriel instead of doing what's best for the team. They're not going to win if pride keeps getting in the way of progress, because that's what this feels like now. Stefanski backed Gabriel as his starter, and now he doesn't want to admit he got it wrong, but refusing to adjust when the ship is clearly sinking isn't loyalty, it's stubbornness, and it's going to cost him. There's another layer to this that makes everything even more complicated. The ownership group just announced plans for a new stadium. That's not a minor announcement. That's a $1 billion commitment, a long-term investment, a very public declaration that this franchise is serious about competing at the highest level. But you can't sell fans on a state-of-the-art stadium when the product on the field looks like this. You can't ask people to invest in the future of the franchise when the present is a complete mess. The expectations are higher now, the scrutiny is more intense, and Stefanski's leash is shorter than it's ever been. Ownership didn't put up that kind of money to watch the team stumble through another mediocre season. They want results, and if Stefanski can't deliver them, someone else will. Fans aren't just frustrated with the losses anymore. They're questioning the entire philosophy. They're wondering why the coaching staff is so committed to a quarterback who doesn't inspire confidence. They're asking why Sanders, who's done everything right, who's shown leadership both on and off the field, who's already earned the respect of the city, is still sitting on the bench. There's no good answer to that question. The excuses are running out, the patience is gone, the momentum is shifting, and not in a good way. This isn't about punishing Dillon Gabriel. He's not a bad person, and he's not intentionally trying to sabotage the season, but he's not the right fit for what this team needs right now. Sanders brings something Gabriel doesn't have, and that's the willingness to take risks. He's not reckless, but he's not afraid either. He plays like he believes he belongs, like he trusts his ability, like he wants the pressure. That mentality is rare, and it's exactly what Cleveland is missing. Gabriel plays like he's trying to keep his job instead of trying to win games, and that difference matters more than any stat line. Every day that Sanders stays on the bench is another day the Browns are choosing fear over opportunity. They're choosing the known failure over the unknown potential. They're choosing to protect the feelings of one quarterback over the success of the entire team. That's not leadership, that's avoidance. And when the season is over, when they're sitting at home watching other teams in the playoffs, what's the excuse going to be? That they stuck with their plan, that they trusted the process, that they were waiting for the right moment. The right moment was weeks ago, and the longer they wait, the harder it's going to be to justify. Sanders has already proven he can handle the spotlight. He's handled it with grace off the field and with confidence on it. He's shown he's ready for the moment, that he understands what's at stake, that he's not going to shrink when things get tough. Those are the qualities you want in a quarterback, especially in a situation like this, where the season is slipping away and the team needs someone to grab it by the throat and refuse to let go. Gabriel doesn't have that in him. He's a game manager, and game managers don't save seasons. The locker room is watching all of this unfold, and they're not blind. They see a guy in Gabriel who's doing just enough not to get benched. Then they see Sanders, who's showing leadership without even getting the chance to play. Who do you think they'd rather fight for on Sunday? Who do you think they believe in? Because belief matters in this league. When the defense is grinding and the offense responds with 3 points and a punt, resentment builds. Frustration festers. Eventually, that spills over into everything. The effort level, the trust, the chemistry. That's how teams fall apart, and it's all avoidable if Stefanski makes the move. If he makes the change now, it shows accountability. It tells the team that the coaching staff is willing to admit when something isn't working and take action. If he waits too long, it turns into something else entirely. It becomes stubbornness. It becomes ego. It becomes blind faith in a failing plan. The history of the NFL is full of coaches who had to make this exact decision, and the ones who survived, the ones who built legacies, they made the tough call before it was too late. Bill Belichick benched Drew Bledsoe for Tom Brady, and the rest is history. history. This isn't saying Sanders is Brady, but it doesn't require him to be. It just requires him to be better than what they're getting now, and based on everything we've seen, that's not a high bar to clear. Shedeur Sanders brings unpredictability to an offense that's painfully predictable. He forces defenses to respect the deep ball, to account for every level of the field, to actually game plan instead of just sitting back and waiting for the check down. He's not just another body under center. He's a competitor who wants the responsibility, who feeds off the pressure, who acts like the guy even before he's officially given the role. That kind of confidence is contagious, and this team desperately needs it. We've already seen what Sanders can do when he's allowed to play his game. The preseason tape doesn't lie. He moved the ball with purpose. He threw with conviction. He gave the offense a spark that's been completely absent in the regular season. And the worst part is that the coaching staff saw it too. They know what he's capable of. They just won't use it. That's what's driving everyone crazy. The solution is right there, sitting on the bench, ready to go, and they're refusing to even try it. The stakes couldn't be clearer. Miami and New England are beatable opponents, games that could flip the entire narrative of this season. These are opportunities to make a statement, to show that this team isn't going to roll over and accept mediocrity, but that's not going to happen with Gabriel running the same stale offense. It's not going to happen with a coaching staff that's too afraid to make a change. It's not going to happen if Stefanski keeps prioritizing his ego over the team's success. Sanders has done everything you could possibly ask of a backup quarterback. He's stayed ready, he's been professional, he's shown leadership in ways that transcend football. He's connected with the fan base in a way that no one else on this roster has even come close to matching. He's earned this opportunity through his actions, his preparation, and his mentality. The only thing standing in his way is a coaching staff that's too scared to admit they made a mistake. This isn't about guarantees. Nobody's saying Sanders is going to come in and immediately turn the Browns into Super Bowl contenders, but doing nothing guarantees failure, and that's the difference. Right now, Cleveland is choosing to fail slowly instead of taking a chance on something that could actually work. They're choosing to protect feelings instead of pursuing wins. They're choosing to maintain the status quo even though the status quo is killing them. Kevin Stefanski's legacy in Cleveland is hanging in the balance. He can make the bold move that everyone else already sees, or he can double down on a losing strategy and hope it magically works out. But hope isn't a plan, and time is running out. If they lose to Miami with Gabriel under center, running the same conservative offense that's failed all season, the fallout is going to be severe. The fans will revolt, the media will pile on, and the front office will start asking serious questions about whether Stefanski is the right leader for this team moving forward. The pressure is mounting from every direction. The stadium announcement raised expectations. The losses are piling up. The locker room is getting restless. And through all of it, Shedeur Sanders is sitting there, ready, capable, and completely unused. It's maddening to watch, especially for a fan base that's been through so much disappointment already. They deserve better than this. They deserve a coaching staff that's willing to make the tough calls, that's willing to adjust when something isn't working, that's willing to put the team's success above their own pride. This moment is going to define how the rest of the season plays out. If Stefanski starts Sanders, it sends a message that this organization is willing to do whatever it takes to win. It shows the locker room that effort and preparation matter. It gives the fans something to believe in again. If he sticks with Gabriel, it confirms what a lot of people already suspect, that this coaching staff is more interested in protecting their egos than winning football games. The worst part about all of this is that it didn't have to be this way. The Browns had a chance to make this change weeks ago when it was clear Gabriel wasn't working. They could have given Sanders a shot when the season was still salvageable, when there was still time to build momentum and make a real push. Instead, they waited, they hesitated, they hoped things would magically get better without actually changing anything. Now they're backed into a corner and the margin for error is gone. Sanders represents more than just a quarterback change. He represents a shift in mentality, a willingness to take risks, a commitment to playing aggressive football instead of just trying not to lose. That's what this team needs more than anything else right now. They need someone who's going to step into the huddle and demand excellence, who's going to make the throws that Gabriel won't attempt, who's going to give this offense a chance to be dynamic instead of predictable. If the Browns want to salvage what's left of this season, if they want to prove to their fans that this franchise franchise is actually serious about competing, if they want to show the locker room that effort and leadership matter, then they need to start Shedeur Sanders. Not next week, not after another loss now, because every day they wait is another day they're choosing to fail, and this city has seen enough failure to last a lifetime. Should the Browns finally give Sanders the start everyone's asking for? Is Stefanski making the right call by sticking with Gabriel, or is this just stubbornness? Drop your thoughts down in the comments. Smash that like button if you're tired of watching this team play scared, and make sure you're subscribed because when this decision finally gets made, we're going to break down every angle of what it means for Cleveland's future.